So yeah, we're gonna, one of the big things I think with Andy is also knowing when to mulligan.
Yeah.
Got so many cards to choose from.
I always used to give Andy players crap of, you see them mulligan in disgust of, oh, this 9-card hand, just so bad. Only a Desperado and 1 Dirty Laundry? What is this? What kind of peasant hand is this? But, that is the power of the ID, is that you see, I know, Josh, you weren't here earlier, but we talked a lot about the impact of the Tulsa regionals, where we saw Cerebral Static. Again, Andromeda doesn't care about Cerebral Static.
Nope, not at all.
And,
it's a dead card.
We haven't seen it so far today, but, clearly Andromeda giving you that opening hand consistency to say, you're going to have that run-based economy that gets set up in your early opening or opening hand. I mean, it's a very powerful ability still.
Well, and to that point, I think, we've seen some ELPs played instead, and I think that's important. We're going to start seeing that a little bit more because it's more taxing on everybody, not just those specific runners that we're seeing in the meta today.
We got Breaking News as our first draw. Oh, Sweeps Week. That's the card you want against Andromeda.
Classic. It's a good one. And now he's going to be pretty set up to start advancing whenever he wants.
Yeah, and let's see. I see a fast track in hand and a bunch of ice. So I like Architect over R&D here. That always is the anti-face check, even though a lot of times Andromeda does not run opening turn. So we got Architect over R&D, Eli over HQ. Seems like a very strong opening
pretty
turn.
Strong, pretty ideal for NEH in this matchup.
Yeah, this is your Andy turn.
Yeah, on the other hand,
that seems okay.
And we see also a Mimic in hand, so Ross probably not going to be too worried about spending that fairy if he decides to just face check in R&D.
So we draw into a shipment from Sansan, so he's got 2 in hand. So to the extent that, I know that I don't think Ross is playing Clot, but I imagine, that's a big piece of technology against people who are. So we got Biotic in hand, though.
I think that's actually a Breaking News, a shipment in a Biotic.
Yeah.
So ready to start scoring whenever he wants.
So where's my Astro Train at?
Yeah, right, exactly. Only thing he's missing right now.
If I'm drawing Biotic, I am – oh, he's ready. He is not wasting any time.
Wow, now that's dangerous because that means in hand you've got 2 agendas and 2 of your fast advance pieces, so Ross is going to know.
Now, do you blind legwork with your Ross? We see it in his hand. He's got a fairy.
I think you
do. Eli's popular in these decks. Architect
I think that's
is
the
popular.
problem. I think if he's got a special order, you might do it. You might install your Barrier Breaker. Because the likelihood of him having – it could be an Enigma, I guess.
Yeah.
But other than that, it seems unlikely that the Code Gate is going to be out there to slow you down. It could be a pop-up window. It could be any number of things like that that's just taxing and you get in. But I don't know. I think you maybe save the legwork. But Ross just happy to security test. There it is. There's the blind legwork.
Blind legwork. I don't disagree with this play, and he's going to get paid off for it.
And he can click through.
And if he hits Astro in Breaking News, I mean, that is huge tempo hit.
Huge.
I don't want to say this game will be over, but clearly, I mean, Clay will be punished for his fast track.
Oh, this is the Biotic.
All right, so we dodged 1.
Steals the Breaking News.
Still okay.
Oh, okay. Does not see the train.
If I'm Clay, I'm very happy with that.
Absolutely.
I've got iced rezzed. If I'm him, I Biotic out quickly though. Biotic shipment seems like the pair.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah. Now Ross pointing out, you got to sequence this right. He makes a new server, so he draws a card,
and guess what card it was? Another Biotic. So
seems good.
Yeah.
Seems good.
And he's got a sweeps in hand, so he's gonna have money again this next turn likely.
Yeah, and NEH clearly known for playing a lot of fast games, but I would say this is one of the faster NEH games I've even seen, to be quite honest.
All he needs is that next agenda, and he's ready to go.
All right, so steals NAPD off the top.
NAPD off the top. So going fast for both of them. And Ross still has a sure gamble in hand, so sitting on plenty of money for him.
I think Clay has a Jackson in hand still, so how aggressively do you want to start digging after he gets some money back to find that next Astro?
Right.
Because Ross, I mean, he could click through the Eli, but he doesn't have a special order in hand, doesn't have his barrier breaker online. I mean, there is a reasonable chance that Clay just puts him to the test and says, come get it.
And I think that's fine, and we see a Daily Business Show and a Beal. So I think he's going to be happy with both of those. He's got plenty of ice in hand.
Yeah.
But he's just going to drop it from R&D. Interesting. I would have expected maybe a remote there. Either iced or just drop the Daily Business Show, because at the very least you're making the runner spend 4.
Yeah, usually I don't put the second ice if the runner hasn't challenged it to be able to make me res the first. But yeah, I mean, I assume just going to make him find a breaker.
Yeah, and
quandary seems reasonable.
There's a quandary, yeah. So, but Ross is going to see that and just take money and be happy to wait until next turn.
All right, so we've got Pad Campaign. I don't know if he goes for that or Daily Business Show. I imagine he wants to draw a card here. So, yep, we installed the Pad Campaign.
Finds the Sansan.
That could be an interesting way. I mean, obviously, you want to protect that Astro counter to use it for the next Astro script. We know he has the Beal in hand. You know, Sansan could be one that you just put out there, and you maybe need it right away. Clearly, he doesn't have the money, but it's something you could just kind of float out there maybe next turn to draw a card and just leave it on the board for when you might need it later.
Yeah, honestly, like, I would be fine with him just installing Sansan, installing DBS.
Yeah.
You know, okay, so Ross runs it, trashes both. Now he's down to a more manageable amount of money. You know, you don't want to let Andy just sit on money. She's going to get Katie out at some point and just start clicking and building up, you know, her future economy.
Yeah, and here is where you see some of the challenge of the inclusion of Earthrise Hotel. I mean, it's an amazing draw engine, but clearly slow.
Right.
We got an account siphon that's joined the hand. Yeah, this is exactly what I'd do. Problem is he's going to be able – he doesn't res the Pad Campaign in response.
Yeah.
I've seen this mistake a lot sometimes, but yeah, that's unfortunate.
In fact, did he drop? He dropped both the Pad Campaign and the Daily Business Show.
Yeah,
so
I
he
mean,
could have brought them both out and lost a single credit.
Yeah. So for our newer viewers, what you can do is before the account siphon hits, you have a paid ability window to be able to spend down the corp's money, so that he could have hypothetically gone down to 1 credit to where Ross could only make $2 off of that, and clearly making it much less enticing.
On the other hand, Ross then probably accesses, right?
True.
Which means there's a Beal in hand, there's a Sansan in hand, which he probably wants. And Ross doing us a good one, making sure Clay keeps those cards inside the tape.
Yep.
Shout out to Ross. Thank you for that, man.
He's been here before.
Clay just going to install that Sansan and take money. Drops a quandary in the bin.
All right,
Ross,
dirty laundry,
dirty
very profitable.
Into Daily Business Show. He will trash it. Oh, and he runs one of the two, and it is the Sansan.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Clay would have liked that, but we know it wasn't going to get online this turn anyways.
Yeah, and this is where not resing in response to the account siphon. I mean, Ross is loaded. So he's not going to find an asset that he doesn't trash at this point.
Yikes, and now 2 Beals in hand.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough for Clay. That being said, we know he has Sansan, shipment from Sansan, and he's got the Astro script counter. So if he can find another Astro, he can score it in 1 turn anyways. But having 2 Beals in hand, it's rough. You know, I think honestly he Jackson's here.
I agree. I think he's got to pitch those. Oh, he's going for the sneaky play.
Sneak, and he draws another Jackson off of it. So.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, he's just going to score out the Beal. Not even be sneaky about it.
I liked your play better, Josh, of just overdrawing, try to manage your hand a little bit, get the agendas out.
Yeah. But, you know, I guess he knows he doesn't have a lot of money right now. So Ross is actually going to run into R&D. Doesn't see anything.
Yeah, we know the architect's sitting over there, so Clay's going to make the choice of, you know, does he want to protect himself and get some money back to try and defend, or, you know, does he just want to start banging cards out in remotes and try to race?
And ironically, it's a wraparound, so, you know, he could install that in a new remote.
Yeah.
And drop a Beal behind it and take a money.
It's a reasonable play.
And now it's secure, right?
Now we know the inside job's in hand.
That's true.
That's true. Always nerve-wracking, but you know, criminals have been trimming back on inside job.
Yeah.
That has been, I know, in a lot of Leela lists or Andromeda, I've seen inside job has been. You got so many good criminal cards at this point. I've seen that be one that gets cut.
And he does finally use Jackson. He sees an NAPD and a piece of ice. I think a quandary. Just deciding what to discard here.
Yeah.
Oh, installs over R&D.
Okay.
Not sure what that was.
I mean, this is tough because Ross is looking at his board, and I'll guarantee you, I mean, he could care less whether this is a quandary or not.
Right.
Ross is going to challenge R&D. I know him well enough. He is going to pounce on this opportunity when he's low on money.
So he runs archives with the data sucker out.
Yep.
For 3. Clay will pop the Jackson, getting back any PD, quandary. Something? I'm confused as to why he wants back quandary back. Oh, he doesn't. Okay, good. So he's just getting 2 sweeps in the NAPD, and Ross will see the quandary and looks like another Eli.
Now, the problem for the Corp is going to be we see the same old thing in Ross's hand. You know, Ross,
Enigma,
to the extent that that Clay builds up some money, I mean, he's just going to drop same old thing on the board, and, you know, he may just – he needs a barrier breaker in hand, but he may just try to play the siphon control game of, you know, anytime Clay goes up to a decent-sized money, even though we know Clay didn't make the play to res assets in response to the siphon, he now no longer has any assets that cost money, so it won't help him.
Although there are marked accounts.
So
just going to click those. And
yeah,
you know, as Ross, honestly, you have enough money where you might consider just running it.
I would bet money that Ross trasses this, just doesn't want to let him back into the game.
City's going to run the next Jackson. Clay pops it. He does pop it. Okay. Gets back a pad, presumably another shipment from Sansan.
I like DBS.
I would think with this little money, he would want that shipment from Sansan back. But instead, he's getting a fast
that, you know, it's not a bad play. I mean, he's on 4 points, and, you know, if he can get a turn, Ross does not have a barrier breaker still.
Right.
So, I mean, if Clay's read on this is, let me get the Astro in hand. I've got shipment from Sansan, but the problem is he already burned his Astro counter earlier to score that Beal. And this is where, you know, he may be getting punished for it now because he's got to get up enough money to biotic labor it out because clearly, you know, there's no remote to speak of.
Ross will run R&D, sees a pop-up. That's what it was earlier. And there's that Astro script. And then, trashes the marked accounts. So, Clay in a little bit of pickle here, still on virtually no money to Ross's piles of it.
This is the boom or bust that is NEH and always has been. You either
and there's the
fire these agendas out and win, or you just get hopelessly locked down without, you know, really strong enough ice to protect yourself.
And see, this is where I really have to question that Jackson decision.
Yeah.
You know, if he draws a shipment here, he's got a Beal in hand that's, you know, scoreable with a shipment, even with no money.
I think that's a great point.
And, you know, I'll admit I'm a little biased. I played Foundry for a little while here with shipment from Sansan, and it works like a charm. You don't have to have a lot of money to score in that deck. I think it's similar in your Thub.
This is that siphon criminal control game. Again, we talked about how this is the throwback criminal deck, but guess what? Still works in 2015.
Yeah, so Ross happy to just, you know, take 10 money from Clay. And Clay, you know, had to see that coming to a certain extent. You know criminals run more than one siphon anyways.
And I'm curious whether Ross even, I mean, knowing he's going to just take 3, I'm curious whether Ross just even runs back through this pop-up to allow Clay back into this game. He may just hang out for a little bit, try to get another, he has the same old thing, but maybe try to get another legwork. Oh, but he's probably going to parasite this. Yeah.
There it is. So the pop-up's gone. He's probably going to run right in.
He's too broke to res the Architect.
The irony being, even if he did, there's a fairy in play and a mimic in hand.
Yeah.
So Clay sees another Architect.
And here's the problem with NEH. You know, when you're playing from behind, in most NEH lists, and Clay's is no different, there is not any ice that you can draw at this point
that's going
to win you the game.
Although I think here you probably install Architect over Archives and then take 2 money. And now you can res one of them. Which, you know, at least forces Ross to pop that fairy.
Okay, so
drawing with Architect. Interesting, yeah, and manages to get a hedge fund out of it. So he'll take 2 money. Unfortunately, won't be able to play that hedge fund until next turn.
Yeah, fast track. I don't think agendas in his hand is exactly what he wants at this point.
Ross, there it is, sees the RDI, and now he's got a hammer. R&D.
So let's see if we can pull it off R&D.
just runs our archives for security testing money. Surprised he hasn't installed Mimic.
Yeah, I've got to imagine it's coming, but this is the power of Criminal. I mean, this is why it's so good, is because Ross is being very aggressive, making multiple runs a turn, and he's getting paid every time he does it. And you can see the money count at this point is reflective of that. And the data sucker, you know, those have just piled up.
Yeah. And, you know, from here, where do you go as David? What is going to win David the game here? What is an avenue? Or,
yeah,
I'm sorry, Clay.
I mean, honestly, I really think that your only chance is to try and money up, outlast the siphons and say, there's only 3 siphons in the deck. You don't know how – you haven't seen the same old thing yet. It might be there, but you don't see a barrier breaker. And just say, you know what, I'm going to try and charge up to Biotic Labor. And there's one – breaking news left in the deck, and maybe you just luck out where Ross doesn't see him, the agenda's off R&D.
Right.
And, you know, again, NEH has been known to win a game or two by just lucking out off of an Astro script draw at the right time.
Now, unfortunately, rezzing that Architect means he can't play that hedge fund.
Yeah.
So he's sitting in here with a DBS in hand.
And I don't know if I like that. I mean, at this point, I mean, you see Mimic.
Yeah.
Ross has more money than he knows what to do with. And, you know, at this point, he just needs to protect his money. That's the most valuable resource Clay has at this point.
And ironically, Clay sees more money than he's able to play.
Yeah.
With 2 hedge funds sitting in hand that are unplayable until at least next turn.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that this may be it. Yep. Nope, just the other breaking news. Well, makes it even tougher for Clay because now the one you could score straight out of hand, you know, that option is gone. Yeah, Ross just being, I think, doing the right thing, being very aggressive and challenging every remote that gets put down to the extent that he can.
Yeah, and he knows he's sort of got plenty of time here because as long as that is the only ice in R&D, as long as he can see what's coming next now.
I think we drew into the play set of hedge funds in hand.
Now Clay can afford
there we go.
To put down ice. Unfortunately, we know he doesn't really have it. He would like to see a toll booth, for instance. He could drop that wraparound in front of the Architect. We know that for now would do it. And then, as we say that, of course, Corroder comes out. So Ross got to be feeling pretty comfortable here.
And he's got the handful of emergency shutdowns, one of which he's been holding for a while. I mean, at this point, it doesn't do all that much. I don't even know if he bothers. No, sees the only other hedge fund left.
Yep. He will run and trash the
Get rid of that.
Show. Although at this point, you almost want to let him have the daily business show because you're seeing the top 2 cards.
Wow, and you know Ross didn't check R&D, but could have won it there.
Clay draws into now 2 Beals in hand.
I feel Biotic. Yep.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, I don't disagree with the play because you got to figure out how to win it somehow.
Right.
But at the same point in time,
your money.
That's not the one you want. And breaking news is that ship has sailed.
Although now, again, one agenda away.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. And we might hear in the background there 10 minutes left in the round. This game will almost certainly end.
I think he has an NAPD in hand. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, we're loaded.
Legwork scores it. So
well, great game by both players. Ross definitely got there. Timely legwork at the end. And so, you know, there we go. Andromeda versus Near Earth Hub, end of round 2.
Yeah, so we'll see if we can get them in here for a little chat. We see Randall there on camera talking to them. Great play by Ross.
Yeah.
You know, again, bringing the oldest of decks and coming out on top in 2015.
But you saw the Parasite include. I mean, a lot of people have gone away from that. They're either using their influence on Stealth Andromeda or just going different directions.
Right.
But you saw with the pop-up window, I mean, that is where it shines. With pop-up window, being able to really deny them the money to get back in the game, very impactful there.